The Winter Mint is one of the many mints in Plants vs. Zombies 2, and today I'm going to be ranking every single plant in its family from worst to best. And while there's actually only 11 plants in this family, which isn't too much compared to some of the other families, as though the majority of the families have at least 15 plants in them, but this one only has 11, and while at the number 11 spot, we have the iceberg lettuce. Now, even though the iceberg lettuce is the lowest on the list, it's still not a bad plant, as well, even though it's the lowest, there's actually a lot of good plants in this family, so it's not really that surprising that it's this low on the list. As well, it's a pretty simple plant. It costs 0 sun, it has a 20-second recharge time, and it freezes the zombies for 10 seconds. Meaning that it takes double the time to recharge for the amount of time that it freezes a zombie for, meaning that it actually takes a while to recharge. Which is really the only downside to it, as well literally everything else about this plant is really good, and while the plant food literally freezes the entire map, so overall it's not too bad of a plant, it's just not as good as the others. And while at the number 10 spot we have the Boing Zeta, and while this plant's actually pretty unique, as well it actually knocks back the zombies and chills them. As well, the Boing Zeta will knock back zombies around 1.5 tiles if it's within the radius of the Boing Zeta, and the Boing Zeta will also destroy basically anything in its path that's like a grave. As well, it doesn't really do any damage to the zombies, but it basically destroys everything that's on the ground like graves and other things. So it's actually pretty good with clearing that sort of stuff, and while it also chills the zombies for 5 seconds, it knocks them back a few tiles, so overall it's not too bad, though the recharge time is really bad, as well as 30 seconds. And well, next up we have the Mistletoe, and while the main downside to the Mistletoe is its firing rate and also its sun cost. As well, this is actually a really expensive plant, as well it literally costs 500 sun, which is just a lot compared to any other plant in the game. And well, even though there are some good plants in the game that cost around 500 sun, like you'll see later on this list, this one just isn't one of them, as well it has a really slow firing rate. As well, it's very similar to the banana launcher, where you have to pick where this plant shoots, and well, even though it takes 20 seconds to fire, it does deal 1200 damage, basically insta-killing any zombie that it hits. Though that ends up being a problem, and it can only attack every 20 seconds, so overall, even though it does a lot of damage and chills the zombies for around 10 seconds, the firing rate really ruins how good this plant could be. Now, next up we have the chili pepper, and while the chili pepper is an alright plant, it's sort of like a worse version of the jalapeno. As well, even though it attacks in a larger radius than the jalapeno, being 3 lanes instead of 1, is still not as good. As well, the way that this plant works is really weird, as well you basically have to directly place the chili pepper on top of a zombie, even if it's in the same lane, there's no guarantee to kill it. As well, the only way to actually kill a zombie with the chili pepper is that if you basically just place the chili pepper right on top of the zombie, as well the further away the zombie is from where you originally placed the chili pepper, the less damage that'll do. So let's say you place the chili pepper in the middle of the lawn, the zombies right on the first tile of the lawn that get hit by the chili pepper will basically deal no damage to it. Which is a really big downside to this plant, as well it could be a really good plant, but it's really nerfed because of that. And while it chills the zombies for a good amount of time, once again, mattering on where the zombies are on the board, so still, it sort of just matters on where you place this plant, you also have to be pretty strategic with it. And well, next up we have the newest plant that was added into this family, being the Frost Bonnet. And while the Frost Bonnet costs a total of 175 sun, and is not only an ice plant, but also a fire plant, as well it could actually switch between the two. Though the ice version of the Frost Bonnet is definitely a lot better, as well not only does it deal 10 more damage than the fire one, it also chills the zombies. And while the main downside with this plant is the attack cooldowns, as well with the ice it's a 3.6 second cooldown, and same thing with the fire, as well the fire has a 3.2 second cooldown. So honestly, the main thing that really nerfs this plant is the attack cooldown, as well if the attack cooldown was a little faster, it'd actually be a lot better plant. So yeah, if you're using the ice version, it's actually a lot better, as well it even has a 45% chance of freezing a zombie, but still, compared to the other plants in this family, it's not that good, and the fire version of the Frost Bonnet is even worse than the ice version. As well, not only does it deal less damage, it also can't chill the zombies or have a chance of freezing them at all. And well, next up we have the Cold Snapdragon, and while some people may be surprised why this one's only around halfway on the list, but I have a good reason for it. As well, especially compared to the other plants in this family, it's not as good as a lot of people think, as well it costs 150 sun, it has a 5-second recharge time, which is pretty good. Though the way that this plant attacks really isn't that good, as well it only deals 30 damage every 2 seconds. As well, it takes 1.85 to 2 seconds to actually be able to attack zombies, as well it has to take time in between shooting the ice at the zombies, which actually nerfs it a lot. As well, just like the Frostbonnet, it has a really slow attack cooldown, which is just sort of a problem with a lot of these ice plants for some reason, but yeah, it ends up making the Cold Snapdragon a lot worse. Though still, don't get me wrong, it's actually still a pretty good plant, as well as able to reduce the zombie speed by up to 50%, which is pretty good. So yeah, it's a really good stalling plan, but in terms of what damage that it deals, it doesn't really deal too much damage, and you sort of need other plants to support it. Now next up we have the Iceweed, and well, this is basically just a more powerful version of the Spikeweed, and it's basically if you combine a Spikeweed with a Snowpea. As well, it attacks in the exact same way as the Spikeweed, except that it just deals a lot more damage. It also is able to chill the zombies. As well, by itself, it doesn't really deal much more damage as well. At least she only deals 10 damage, though because of the fact that it chills the zombies, it ends up dealing a lot more damage in general because the zombies are on it for much longer. As well, every single time it hits the zombie, it chills it for 3 seconds, meaning that the entire time that it's on the Iceweed, it chills it for 3 seconds, and it chills it for 3 seconds after it's off of it as well. Meaning that it actually stays on the Iceweed for a really long time, and since it attacks extremely quickly, the 10 damage very quickly turns into a ton of damage. So yeah, even though at first the actual stats of the plant don't look too good, once you realize what this plant actually does, it ends up becoming a really good attacker and also a really good staller. Now at the number 4 spot we have the Snowpea, and while the Snowpea would never be this high on the list if I made it a few years ago, but because a few years ago this plant actually got buffed, it's actually a lot better now. As well, to be honest with you, a few years ago before it got buffed, it was a pretty bad plant, as well not a lot of people used it, and overall just didn't have much of a use in general. As well, first off, for its main stats, it costs 150 sun, it has a 5-second recharge time, and deals 20 damage per P. Though even though it only deals 20 damage, it actually shoots pretty quickly, around the exact same firing rate as the pea shooter, and it slows down the attack speed of the zombies by 50%. As well, not only does it slow down the actual speed of the zombies, it also slows down how much they could attack, which actually works really well. And well, because of the Snowpea's buff, it's actually a lot better now, as well not only could it deal splash chill radius, meaning that not only does it chill the zombie that it immediately hits, all the zombies around it also have a chance of being chilled. And while it also has a chance of shooting a freezing pea, which chills the zombies, and has a 30% chance of happening. Which actually makes the Snowpea a lot better, as well not only could it chill the plants, it could also completely freeze them, and it could also deal splash chill damage. So honestly, it ended up becoming a lot better once the buff happened, as well before that the Snowpea just wasn't as good. And while on the number 3 spot, we have the Wintermelon, as well. As I mentioned earlier, this plant costs 500 sun, just like the Mistletoe, but as I mentioned earlier with the Mistletoe, there are some good plants that cost 500 sun. And while this is one of them, as well, this is actually a really good plant, even though the sun cost is really high. As well, there's really no downsides to the Wintermelon, besides the fact that it costs 500 sun, as well besides that, basically everything else about this plant is really good. And while it shoots Wintermelons into the sky, dealing a 3x3 damage radius, meaning that not only does it deal 80 damage to the zombie that it directly targets, it also deals 80 damage to all the zombies around it. And while not only that, it also chills all the zombies in that radius as well, slowing them down by 50%. And while it chills all these zombies for a total of 10 seconds, meaning that you don't even have to have a full row of Wintermelons just to chill every single zombie on the lawn, as though they don't even need to directly attack them. And while it lobs Wintermelons every 2.5 seconds, which is a pretty slow attack speed, but once again, it just makes up for it with how overpowered it is. So yeah, overall, Wintermelon is just a really good plant that deals a really good amount of damage, and also stalls the zombies really well. And while at the number 2 spot, we have the Ice Bloom, and while the Ice Bloom is basically just a better version of the Ice Shroom from the original Plants vs. Zombies 1 game. As you know, in Plants vs. Zombies 1, Ice Shroom freezes every single zombie on the map, and the Ice Bloom does the exact same thing, but with even more. As well, first off, it costs 200 stone and has a 25-second recharge time, which makes complete sense for the recharge time, as well as a very similar recharge time to the Iceberg Lettuce, but it's just a lot better. As well, it freezes the zombies for 5 seconds and then chills them for 6 seconds after they're done being frozen, meaning that for 11 seconds, the zombies could barely even move. And not only that, it also deals 50 damage to every single zombie on the lawn, and it also deals 200 damage to zombies in a 3x3 radius of where the Ice Bloom is placed down. Meaning that not only is it a really good stalling plan, if it's just at the beginning of a wave and you want to freeze all the zombies, you could just place it directly in the middle of the wave and it'll deal an insane amount of damage. So yeah, it's basically just a more overpowered version of the Ice Shroom from the original game, as well it freezes the zombies and deals damage to all of them. And while really the only downside to this plan is the really long recharge time, just like most insta plants. And while at the number 1 spot for the best plan in the Winter Mint family, we have the Ice Shroom. Now the Ice Shroom costs 175 sun, it has a 12-second recharge time, and while it could actually do a lot of different things, as well it barely resembles it from the original game at all, as well since Ice Bloom basically was just Ice Shroom from the original game, it was actually completely reworked. And now instead of being an insta plan, it's actually a melee plan that chills all the zombies. As well, it attacks in intervals of 1.5 seconds and it chills the zombies for 2 seconds every time that it hits them. And while not only that, in a 3x3 radius around himself, he creates this ice aura thing that immediately chills all the zombies in that radius, and it could also deal damage to every single one of those zombies. And while this might not all sound that good until you realize that it deals 200 damage per hit, which is an insane amount of damage, as though 200 damage can actually kill zombies pretty quickly, especially because it attacks multiple times in that 1.5 seconds. Meaning that in a very quick amount of time, even though it has to wait to attack after that, it can actually deal multiple hundreds of damage. So for that one reason of being able to deal an insane amount of damage, it's at the number 1 spot. But yeah, comment down below if you agree with this list or not, and also comment down below your own list of the Winter Mint family, and also comment which Mint family I should rank next. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please like and subscribe, and have a great day.